tell us who you are. I may have had a short introduction, but tell us more as to who you are and the project which specifically speaks to the suffrage community.
Definitely. Thank you again for having me here, and thank you for people that are listening to us today for being on the air and listening to our program. Okay, my name is Euthalia Filges. I am the coordinator for this project. And under this project, I'm wearing the hat of Executive Director of the ACARI, which is the Agricultural Alliance for the Caribbean. So we are partnering with Clear Caribbean, with who conceptualized and is implementing this project in Soufrière. And the name of CLARE means the Center for Livelihoods, Ecosystems, Energy, Adaptation, and Resilience in the Caribbean, a real mouthful, but they are part of the project. We also collaborating with ICA, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture. They have two offices. The two offices will be collaborating with us, the one in St. Lucia and the one in Barbados, because the trainer will be from the one in Barbados. And of course, like you said, Inter-American Foundation, IAF, is the one who's sponsoring this project. So we have 4 entities collaborating to create this project. This project is looking at organic farming, and we are looking at women with that are marginalized, single-headed households, women who are to provide them with water tanks and also seeds for them to put an organic farm in their backyards or whatever, wherever they have space. So we'll be choosing some beneficiaries. However, we'll be conducting a 2-day training. The training will be virtual. The training will be done by ICA. All the training will be done by ICA. It will be a 2-day training virtually. So it will be open to everybody. Anybody who's interested in coming to the training is on organic farming. And we asking persons to, if you're interested in organic farming, you're free to come to that training. We'll be made the flyer available. People will know about it. So by today or tomorrow, the flyer will be available. So the training will be done next week, Wednesday, and the week after. So 1 week, 2 weeks, but within 2 weeks, but 1 day each week. Yes?
Time.
The time is from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yes, so it will be done virtually, and we're inviting everybody. However, the beneficiaries will not be everybody that comes to the training. We'll be choosing a particular amount of persons based on the funding that we have available. And further to that, they are already promising to extend the beneficiaries. So later on, we'll be choosing more beneficiaries to be able to set up their own farms so that they could provide food for their households, basically, but using the organic method.
Yeah, because that sounds good, but when you say like it will be you're choosing the beneficiary,
Yeah.
I want you to go more, like, be specific. With
Yes.
depth.
Yeah, we have a criteria, and the
Right.
criteria are
There you go.
single
There you go.
women,
There you go.
headed households.
There you go.
And we're looking at women that have difficulty in feeding their children, and so therefore we're looking for persons like that so that we can help them so that
Okay.
they will not have much trouble in finding food. We'll provide them with support to put in the farm. They'll be getting water tanks. They'll be getting seeds. They'll be getting somebody to teach them how the methods, and so that they could use things around their home to fertilize their farm. They don't have to buy fertilizer and so on.
Okay,
so
good.
basically, it's a sustainable way of feeding yourself. So you
Nice
use what you
development.
eat, so all the things you throw in, you can use it to compost. They will be also be doing composting and all of that.
That is a very good thing, because lately persons have been talking about backyard gardening and of course eating healthy.
Correct.
Persons talk about all those pesticides and you know that whatever you
Yes.
give the plants to grow, speed
Speed up the growth,
Expedite
the
the
hormone.
process.
Yes.
you understand. So
Yes.
persons try to avoid that because with so many diseases right now.
Correct.
You understand them? So persons have been very careful. So that's a good vibe. That's a good vibe.
Yes.
Chronic, all the
and
chronic
it's in
illnesses.
Soufrière, so
Yeah.
it is for the beneficiaries that will be receiving
Nice.
the items to do their farms will be in Soufrière. However, the training is open to everybody across the region, not just St. Lucia. So everybody else can benefit. You understand? Everybody can, those that can afford. So you come to do the training and you can just implement your own program. You could send pictures to us for us to see. We'll be giving your website when you attend the training, that you can let us know what you're doing so that we can see maybe how we could extend the program, include all of those people that have also come on the journey with us. Because they basically will be coming on the journey with us even if they're not part of benefiting from getting anything, but they get in the training. So that's still a benefit.
Yeah, of course,
Yes.
because
so you get the training is free. Everybody is welcomed. including you guys. Everybody's welcome.
Because sometimes you,
Set up
because
on
sometimes you might be
Monday.
you might be doing things a cultural way, and that's not the way at
That's
all.
correct.
You
This
know,
is true.
you always
Yes.
learn. You know,
Yeah.
there's always room for improvement.
Of course.
I definitely think it's a great idea, especially not recognizing our farmers because we know they toil, they work hard, and especially what we've seen, even with the frost, with supporting local, buying and eating what you grow. And when it comes to the vendors, sometimes I may be a victim as well. We go to the supermarkets and we buy all the grapes and the pineapples and everything else that's foreign, and then we do not support the local. Like, how often do we even buy a banana? We buy a mango, and those sort of things. For me, I'm not even into the provision, like to eat breadfruit and dashing and those sort of things. I don't eat that.
So you keep
for
away
sure.
from the carbohydrates.
No, I think again it's because we do not understand the value of what we have.
There you go,
Like
yeah.
we all of us, we still say that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Why are we saying an apple a day?
Is
Shouldn't
it
we say a
true?
guava a day?
Mhm.
A guava is more nutritive. It's more of a complete fruit
Mhm.
than apples. But we will promote apples than we will promote our local guavas because we don't understand the value. Like for instance, all of us busy buying kale and we wanted to grow kale. And I'm saying we have callaloo leaves, we
Mhm.
have
Spinach, all-
spinach,
yeah, all those things,
epina,
yeah.
all of those
Mm.
things might
You-
be
you don't see that all
have
the
the
time.
same value, but they're everywhere. We just don't know them. They're growing anywhere
Mhm.
as weeds. We spray them.
Mhm.
Look at something like purslane. They call it
Yeah.
coupier in
Coupier,
Creole.
yeah.
I've never
and
heard of that.
A very high in omega
How
3s,
you know that?
Yeah.
and it's a complete
Well, every woman.
plant. You know what I'm saying. It has so many nutrients, antioxidants, but we ignore it. We spray it as weed. We have our dandelions. We have
Oh,
our
very good.
local dandelions
Mhm.
growing all over the place, but we call it weeds.
Mhm.
And one of the things is that, like I always say, we don't know the value of what we have in the
True.
region, and I
True.
think it is up to the people that have the means
Mhm.
to let us know, to market the products, let us know the value. And I think if people understand
Mhm.
value of something,
Right.
they tend to treat it better. They
True.
tend to
True.
understand it. I don't see why people here should have a problem with food, and the reason why is because we
Mhm.
don't know. You just said that you don't eat you know,
Dashing
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And
No
I will
tubers.
tell you it's because you don't use it effectively.
True.
Why buy flour lasagna?
Or
Why can't you use breadfruit
noodles,
slices
yeah?
to make your lasagna?
You
use
understand?
use it as the layers instead. Use macaboo, it's large. You slice them and you put them in there.
You
You
use breadfruit.
understand? Breadfruit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
breadfruit.
telling you that. So cassava, we don't
Mhm.
eat it. You see, and we have enough to feed our people.
Mhm.
If only our people see and understand what they have. We have so many edible plants, so many edible leaves. We don't use it. We just ignore it because we don't know the value. We don't know how to use it. And I think the onus is on people, maybe like me and other people. I will take it to let
Mhm.
our public know how we can use those things and eat nutritively and cheaply. It doesn't have to be expensive to eat
There was that
nutritious
sort of
food.
That is
my-
a suggestion I would have.
Yeah.
Have a workshop whereby sensitizing persons like me and others who share the same into knowing, the food, the best practices and conserving and eating healthy, etc.
Etc. Yes,
Yeah.
and that I have done. I worked with several groups on other projects. Look, I even worked with the school feeding program, and we trying to change the way the students eat, and we have to start from home. And I always like to use my son for an example. When he grew up, I had him to eat sweet potato porridge and plantain porridge. He never ate them tin foods or anything like that. And up to this
The
day,
oat milk quicker oats, them
he's
kind of
he's
custard.
no never.
Mm.
So he's 6 years old, and
Mhm.
every day before he leaves the house, he have his sweet potato or plantain or macabo, whatever I have,
Yeah.
porridge before he leaves the house.
Sure.
Every day, and he's 6, he still eats it.
Mm.
And he would not eat the other stuff. We'd give it to him, and he's like, "Me, what's that?" Now he don't drink like Milo and stuff like
Sure.
that because I never gave it to him. And if one day I decided I'm going to buy one for him just for him to taste it, tell me, "Mommy, I ask you for tea. What is that?"
Yeah.
You know, the boy wants his rosemary leaf tea.
Well,
and his
that
basil leaf
that
tea.
is what I
You know
do.
I'm saying?
That is what.
So I'm saying
that
it's
is
the
what I do.
way we culture ourselves, the way we introduce our children to foods.
Mhm.
And they would say it's yuck. And again, it's because the way we introduce it to them. You have to make mealtime a really fun time.
Of course.
A fun time for children. We're strict on mealtime. Sit down, shut up. You don't,
Much as that.
and so you make mealtime look so stringent and rigid, but it's a time to explore, to learn what you're eating, enjoy what you're eating, understand flavors, know flavors. It should be an enjoyable time for everybody, not just for the adults, but for the kids. We like to be too strict, and we tell them they must sit down, and if they take a little piece of food and they run around and they come back and eat more, we have a problem with that. But it's not necessarily, that's a child. You getting a child, the first thing you want to know is to have your child to understand flavors, to understand food, not necessarily to be so rigid on them that they must have the manners and sit down and whatever ever. But it's about making them enjoying the process, enjoying the time that they are eating.
Which is true, for sure. I love that, not taking you away from what you hear in terms of the workshop, which specifically speaks to women. How about I challenge you and your ministry or even a collab to have that sensitization workshop in terms of, again, I love the idea with kids, how to have the food presentation is key and have it looking more attractive, to maybe encourage them to eat it healthy, and also in terms of the school feeding programs and stuff, and what is being offered to the children, especially in terms of local. We need to pitch in a lot of local for maybe persons like me later down the line who would maybe have a different view. Yes.
Well, fortunately for you, it's another project, but I did work on that project, and I was the consultant on the school feeding project, food program. Although that's not what we came here to talk about, but we'll mention it since I was the one who did the project. And we, what we did, we changed the menu. So all the schools have the new menu that was done on a project that was sponsored by FAO. I must, recognize who sponsored the project, and it was being done in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture. So what we did, the menu was changed. So the menu included a lot of local produce. We also trained the cooks on how to cook those foods, and there's a clip on it. If you want, it's online. It's also on Facebook about how we worked with the cooks to actually change the way the students eat. And we had students sampling the foods after we did, because we did the training in 8 districts, in all the 8 districts. So all the schools had exposure to cooking and eating local foods, and so that they can include it in the students' diet, so that the students are aware of what they can do. If, the thing about we just boil it and put it on a plate, that's not attractive to a child, not even to an adult. And we eat before our eyes first. If the food looks horrible, we don't want to eat it.
That look appealing.
Yes. So we eat with our eyes. Even when people organize, even when you pass by the market, when you see the way they put the produce, if the place that looks the nicest, that's why you're attracted to the way they arrange the food on the shelves and so on. So that is why it is important to make sure that the food is attractive for the child. And there's nothing wrong in serving the child in a toy, in his favorite toy. Yes, if the child likes a truck, you can put his fish and fries in his truck. You clean it, because you're trying to get him to eat. You understand? Right. And it's in his truck. Oh, I'm driving my food to wherever, and he's playing with it, and so on. And she's watching me, and she's like, "Oh, what kind of trouble you give the parents?" But it is important to understand. This is about eating. I'm getting the child to eat. Let the child learn how to enjoy their food, and children learn through play. And I know we don't like that idea, but playing is the best way for a child to learn anything. That's how they learn. So thank you for asking that question, because I just finished working on that project actually this month for May, and yes, so we were doing that. Yes, not cutting aside our project. So, but yes, we were doing that.
Okay. Also on the home gardening training, which speaks to women, I understand as well a number of organizations, or if it's been asked for organizations to maximize the impact of that as well, maybe to get many persons as possible in terms of training.
Yes, that's why we decide to get everybody involved in the training, and not just women or one sector of the society, but everybody can come to the training, because everybody can benefit. If you have space, if you have your own funds, you can decide, okay, I want to eat like that, I want to change the way I eat, so let me have my own farm, and so on. So it is just, that's why we open it up to everybody, so everybody can understand. There's a different method of, we cannot maybe call our food totally organic, but at least we can try to use the organic systems of farming, so therefore we can have healthier foods. The foods that are grown in an organic element are more nutrient dense, so you get more nutrients than the product that is mass produced. So that's the big difference with those products.
Okay.
So if you eat a piece of carrot that is organically produced and versus one that is grown in an ordinary farm, just in mass production, it would be has less nutrition.
Thank you so much. Could you speak to with projects on a whole? There is always the implementation of the project.
Mhm.
So could you speak to the monitoring aspect of that as well?
Yes, the project will be, of course, monitored by, since we have so many collaborators, sorry, collaborators on this project. We are looking at everybody will be monitoring this section of the project because they would want to know that they get the visibility.
Self-monitoring.
Yeah, and also Clear Caribbean, who's implementing the project. The IAF also will be coming since they're the funders. They must see that the project is going as was planned. So they were here recently. They came down to see what we've done, how far we've gone. Because remember, this project is running concurrently with the Coral Reef Gardening project that Mr. Ariste is also running underneath the same Clear Caribbean project that they're doing. So it has two portions. So I only speak to the organic farming with women, but they were here and I was at the meeting also, so they to find out what we're doing, how we're going, what is next, and so on. So the project will be monitored by IAF definitely, and I'm sure ICA will definitely want to see what he's doing. So we also have to report to those people, send reports, letting them know, take photos of what we're doing and so on, so that like this program, I'm sure that Mr. Ariste will have to take a clip and send to them so that they are aware that we are doing work and they understand that it is being done as was planned in the proposal.
Oh, thank you so much. Just taking the time out, Mr. Newton Ariste, he did send greetings to you as well, and want to thank you immensely.
Well, thank you so very much for the opportunity to work with you on this project. It's always a pleasure to work with our community people. You know, I always support working with our people. I believe power to the people, by the people is the way we have to go. Once we support each other, we are helping everybody, not just yourself. You understand? So everybody support one. So we teach you, we expect you maybe to share with somebody in the neighborhood, because if you have excess, we expect you to share with other members of your neighborhood, so that, you know, we could spread the love, yeah?
True.
Yes, that's what we have to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also speak to us to other projects that your entity is embarking on.
Okay, so presently, I'm on so many projects. We've been doing many projects, and one of the things, and because I am working with several organizations, I'm a consultant, so I work with several organizations. So we do. So I'm working on I have different caps underneath different projects. But for this project, I know for sure we're doing the Coral Reef Gardening with Mr. Ariste underneath Clear Caribbean. We're also doing we're doing something else with agro processors to get them to process their products, understand their products, and to upgrade their products, and trying to get markets for persons who are doing products that are different, not just the ordinary products. You know, everybody wants to make banana chips, potato chips. I'm looking for persons that are doing something different, something that's not common, and so that we could put it as a luxury product and make it, market it and do packaging and so on for them. So presently I'm working with somebody on that, I think, which is a really good project for
True.
St. Lucia. And as a matter of fact, this project is starting in St. Lucia first.
That's good.
Yes, because
That's very
you know,
good.
we make the contact. So we already have a few agro processors we're working with, and we're looking for other persons who are interested, who have interesting products that they would like to put on the market. They could contact me, and so that we can see what they have. I also have, I know there are already some persons in software I will be contacted. They don't, their name's already on the list, they just don't know that yet. Yes,
So it seems you're doing a lot of work with Safran.
yes, definitely. So whatever Soufre has, we will be help. You know, it's about empowering, and when you empower in a community, you empower a whole country.
Which
So
is
each
true.
community needs to use their resources. Whatever is available in your community, you can use it to your benefit, to the benefit of the whole. And once people are empowered, you know your country is doing well. You know, so everybody is happy. People are eating. People, when people are hungry, they get very angry because there's no food. So if we could feed our nation, that would be a big thing for us. Yes. And we could start it one community at a time.
Which is true.
Yes.
Could you also speak to us? I know it may not be your stronghold in terms of the coral restoration gardening
Okay.
that has been happening.
Yes,
as
this
well.
this coral reef gardening project started way before this project with the Sandals Foundation. Like I happen to know a good bit about with the Sandals Foundation. You know, when you're going around with Mr. Airy State, you tend to be know a lot of things. So yes, so it started like that. They started they have a nursery. They put up a nursery. The nursery is in Soufrière. And then after that, we also developed a standard, a training standard for coral reef management, and that was done in conjunction with Mr. Erisi again, who was working with USAID at the time, no UKAID at the time, and he did it. We did something with on coral reef gardening level 1 and level 3, sorry, and now we also have level 2. And people were trained again from Soufrière. Most of the persons that were trained were from Soufrière, and they after that, what they plan to do is to create a livelihood around the coral reef gardening, where people will do tours to watch the gardens. Also, they would be able to plant a coral so that it back into the wild, so that it can the reef could rejuvenate and so on. So basically, that's what it was. And the coral reef, the standard was developed together with the TVET Council, the Technical Vocational Education Training Council in St. Lucia, so that the training is available for anybody who wants to, or persons that are already doing it can also get assessment of prior learning. That's one aspect of the TVET that is very important. They do assessment of prior learning. So if you're doing anything that you're accustomed of doing but you don't have a certificate, you could head down to the council. They can help you with you being assessed and certified. So these are some of the aspects of coral reef that we afforded persons when we did the standard. So I was part of the team that was developing the standard. So when we did that standard, it afforded everybody that opportunity. And again,
That's
that
wonderful.
the nursery
That's
is in
wonderful.
Soufrière.
That's wonderful. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
So
Kudos to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's wonderful.
Yes, so a lot of things are happening in Soufrière. I hope Soufrière people are aware that they have opportunities and they can really grow their community if they really want to. The opportunities are available. They can meet with people like Mr. Erisi to discuss what they want to do and how. And I'm sure he can connect people with people. He can connect with me. I can connect them to persons that can help. And that's the way we can develop our community, by really investing in others. We don't take enough time to invest in our communities. When we have, we hoard all. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We can all we get all we can. So, and then we don't help each other. But I mean, in order for us to progress in communities and as a country as a whole, we have to support each other and we have to invest. Whether it's time, it does not always have to be money. It could be time. It could be just connecting somebody with somebody, and that can make them feel good about that. Just a connection, just one connection can make
Mhm.
great things happen.
Mhm.
I think connecting really helps for sure. And I'm happy you said so much is happening in Soufrière, but persons are not aware. So I think it has to be established in terms of how do we disseminate that information so everybody knows or is fully aware of what's
Mhm.
happening. As much as there is the media platform, a lot of persons sometimes they hate and it doesn't register.
Mhm.
So we need to look at a way that can be reached, the masses can be reached in terms of if it's social media blasting or if it's a monthly program, some way, because those incentives cannot go unnoticed.
Exactly, and I quite agree with you. And there'll be so much more happening because I'm just thinking of another program for hair again in Soufrière. So you will hear about it when the time is right. But
You
a
could
lot of
pull
things
me
will be
in, I would
happening.
love to volunteer for sure.
I would love to have you. Yes. So, but we would love to have more people, involved, and I want to do more stuff here, and in other communities, of course, because I am from a community myself, and I would like to push my community. But I'm also happy to help other communities that would like support, help, and whatever way I could connect them, I would connect them. If I can't do it myself, I'll find somebody that can do it. You understand? And that's the way we have to roll. Like we can't be separated and divided anymore. That does not work. We've seen it doesn't work, but we continue to repeat the same processes. And look at that, we're doing this little program and we're collaborating with 4 different entities coming together to do this one program. So it makes sense to come together. It makes sense because that's the only way we could get help. You understand? This project will move so much more because of all these persons that are involved. Everybody brings something to it. And you understand? Everybody brings some value to this project. So all the collaborators bring some value to the project. One brought funding, one brought training, one brought the development of the proposal, the implementation, the other one is helping with the implementation. It just makes more sense when all of us put our hands together.
True.
Yeah.
Great. As the consultant, what or how best do you navigate in terms of challenges?
Okay, we always get challenges in project, and then some of the times you have to prepare for the challenges. You basically you assume some of things will happen because we know, because of experience, we know it has happened. So we prepare for those things that may happen beforehand, and there's also those that you may not see happen. And sometimes we always put contingencies in projects, contingencies in terms of time, contingencies in terms of funding, always a little percentage for if in case, you never know. You have to prepare for those challenges, you understand? So therefore you're ready for if in case it happens. So you don't, yes, you must have a contingency plan. You can't work without a contingency. so so it's very important that you do that. And once we've done that, then it is easy to navigate around the challenges. We are ready for the ones that that may happen, that we are aware that may happen based on experience, and we also have to be ready for those that may happen that we're not aware of. Okay, so we have to be flexible. You can't set up a project so hard and so it must start that date, it must do this, that, it must do. If you do that, then you're setting yourself up for failure because
True.
things. I mean, we're in a community where hurricanes, in a country where hurricanes can happen, natural disasters. You cannot say, okay, we must finish by then something happened. But we have a deadline.
You
but of course
actually,
you have to be
without
flexible.
interrupting you, you actually nailed, what I was about to say in terms of we were approaching the hurricane season, and with most of those projects, how best or what have you prepared, in
Yes.
terms of the coral reef, the gardening project and stuff, because most of the times with the disasters, it would push you to the brink and you may have to start all over again. So what shields are there? What are the forms of protection, and especially in terms of property losses and these various
Yes.
things as well?
Yes. And some of those things that sometimes you really can't avoid it. So you have to get things ready for if in case it happens. Some of
True.
the agencies are quite aware. So they always make, sometimes when things happen like that, they give extra funding if they have, or you have to search for extra funding in order to help to create. But you must prepare for it. You must, because you have to know. And one of the things you go like, okay, every time we go to meetings, you hear we are in a hurricane-prone area. What is it, can we do, and how can we put things in place to ensure that the project runs smoothly, even if we have some accidents. And sometimes we have to. I remember when COVID came, there are projects we were on, and we had to take the project and divert the money into something else because the something else was more important. You understand? So things like that do happen sometimes. So you're running a project, it looks nice and everything, and then something happens, and we say, okay, we can't use the funds for this anymore. This is more important now.
Priority, so you give
So
priority.
yeah, so you have to prioritize and say, okay, we're redirecting the funds into this place and instead of that place. So this one remains there. That does not mean that you'll stop. It's just that for now, it's taking a break because you need to divert funds somewhere else.
Thank you so much. 13 after 11 in Surface and Lotion Eastern Caribbean. To those of you just tuning in, good morning. Welcome inside the second case for today. Euphalia Fulgence, a consultant working with Claire Caribbean on the software project. To my moderator, any questions you may have?
I'm good, thanks. Like I said, she submitted a wealth of information, and again, standing ovation to you guys.
Thank you.
Keep on doing the good work.
Thank you for inviting me.
Just to reiterate in terms of the incentive that is available to women, especially when it comes to organic and farming and stuff, for those who may have missed out, just
Yes,
to touch
so,
the airwaves.
so let me just say this project is about having women, marginalized women with single-headed household that may have issues with getting food regularly, food for the children, and we're looking to provide them with
Single mothers specifically.
single mothers
Mhm.
specifically. Yes, just for now, because the project intends to extend. And listen, we're not putting out single men households, because sometimes we forget that there are some men that they have their own kids. Because I
True.
had a friend, he had the children, yeah. So sometimes some men do have the children and not the woman. So we're not saying that they're not gentlemen that deserve to be under the project, but this project is for women, and they are those that cannot afford to really feed their children very well. So we're providing you receipts if you have a space that can be used, and we provide you for water tanks, so you could do water harvesting, so you could use the water for your washing, for your everything, for your daily living, plus the watering of your plants. And so we'll be providing you with those things for that under this project. So we'll be choosing a few ladies. And also the project has a training component which is open up to everybody. It's a virtual training. It will be done next week, Wednesday. We'll be sending out a flyer. The flyer will be blasted on email. Maybe you'll be having it maybe on your Facebook page, because I'll ask Newton to make
Nice.
sure
Okay.
that he send it to the Software Foundation's radio station, so that we can send it out there for persons who wants to apply. And remember, the project is being sponsored by IEF, which is giving us the funding, Inter-American Foundation. It's also in conjunction with ICA, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Agriculture. They are the ones doing the training itself. And the CLARE, the Center for Livelihood, Ecosystems, Energy Adaptation and Resilience in the Caribbean, are the ones who are implementing and also conceptualize this project. And I am representing the Agricultural Alliance of the Caribbean. We are the ones who is implementing that portion, coordinating, that portion of the project. Okay? So thank you again for listening. Thank you for having me here. I hope that I was able to bring some knowledge to you, and
Plenty.
also
You did.
A whole lot.
some information that makes super people happy to know. And I hope to be here on the other circumstances also soon. That is soon. You'll see me soon, and I'm
Very
bringing
nice.
even better news, I can assure you.
For sure. I love the spirit, and I'll definitely have you here. Newton is keeping me busy. You know, he wants to ensure that he captures everything that was said here. So I've sent him the link, nice and sweet, so he could share it on his page. And I guess
Yes.
most of these things, it's always good to have it on record.
Yes.
So he'll be sending it to, the
Yes.
collaborators as well.
Right, because they would like to monitor. They would like to know, hey,
This
we're
is
part
where
of
we
this,
talk
and
about
we,
monitoring
yes,
processes
they need
for
to
sure.
monitor, yes.
Yeah.
And it's important that they get the airplay they deserve if they're going to be part of the project. It's important that everybody that's part of this project will be, is recognized, and that's important, very important. Yes.
At this juncture, this is where you leave your final sentiments.
Yes. So I am just asking everyone who can, as long as you get the information for the training, please come on to the training. Please be part of the training, where you can at least implement on your own those who will not be beneficiaries, but you never know. Remember, we're planning to extend the project, so if you come, there's a possibility. And even if you're not a beneficiary, but you can share with somebody else, the 3 people could come together and create a project together. So you bring the seeds, I bring the tank, or we put money, we living close by, we share one tank, we harvest rainwater, and then we, something like that. So people can collaborate with each other to create their own little part of the project, which would be fun, and I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Which is true.
Yes.
Before you leave, something at the top of my mind in terms of the rainwater harvesting and the water catchment. I think there was a similar project with IWECO, is it? Am I correct to say?
With who?
IWECO, IWECO.
I've
I
heard of
think they
them, but I
did
did-
similar
okay.
stuff.
Yeah,
in
but
terms of
we're
the
doing a
harvesting.
rainwater harvested. I think if we're dealing with ladies on that level, we need to provide them with an opportunity to harvest their water, so that they can use at least to water their farms. You understand?
That's
We're
true.
always having problems with water. And I always say in St. Lucia, we have a country where we have 6 months of water, and then a few months of dry weather, and then when dry weather, everybody's starving for water. So we need to do something about that.
Which is true.
Yeah, we all need to do something about that. Yes.
Thank you so much, Euphalia Fulgence. It was a pleasure having you grace us with such knowledge for sure. And of course, with the projects that are happening right here in Soufrière, and I hope the residents will embrace and will acknowledge for sure and participate. and get himself educated for sure. You know, not knowing something is ignorant, like my colleague said, but making yourself aware and always putting yourself in the know what's happening, it speaks volumes. This is where I thank you both immensely. It has been house guest for